Today's lesson is on pedigrees, and no, I don't mean the dog food. We're going to learn how to use pedigrees to track patterns in human inheritance. So what is a pedigree? A pedigree is a chart that tracks human inheritance, like in a family. It might track, usually the pedigree just looks at the phenotypes, like if you have attached earlobes or a dimple in your chin or if you have freckles. However, if you know the phenotypes of each family member, you can reasonably determine their genotypes as well. You can determine what genes they actually possess and have passed on to their children. Here's an example of what a pedigree looks like. You can see it's a chart that's made with symbols. It's got levels. Those levels are marked with these generation symbols, Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2, Roman numeral 3. And then each generation kind of splits off into a row. Each person represented in the pedigree is marked with a number. Sometimes they're marked with letters. And then you see the symbol above that number or letter. Let's take a look at that pedigree again and kind of break it down. The pedigree always has a key. For a pedigree, a female is always represented with a circle, and a male is always represented with a square. A line that is drawn between two shapes represents a marriage line. So this line here and this line here means that this male and this female married and had children. Any lines that extend down from that would be attached to their children. The line below the shapes shows the children that they had. If the shape is colored in, it means that that individual shows that trait. And you can only have one trait for each pedigree. We're going to look at a pedigree for a trait called albinism. You've heard of this before, to be an albino. It means there's no coloring, no melanin in skin cells, hair cells, or the iris of your eye. Individuals who have albinism are very prone to sunburn and therefore skin cancer, so they have to be very careful about where they are. And it happens more often in animals than in humans. Animals who are albinos don't survive very long in the wild because they lack their camouflage. Albinism is a recessive trait. And here are some examples of individuals, organisms with albinism. So this is a pedigree that is showing an albinism inheritance. If we think back to the key that we had looked at before, organisms that are circles are females, organisms that are squares are males, and in order to show children, you have to have one square attached to one circle. However many branches you have below that shows the number of children that those two individuals had. You have to be careful with pedigrees because if you take a look at this individual, these two parents had how many children? Well, if we branch it out, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They had 6 children. But this individual that I circled, even though they're in the middle, that does not represent the child of the original parents. That represents someone that this person has married. And you can see their children beneath them. So how many generations are in this family? If we take a look at the number of rows, we see that this family has 3 generations. 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 generations in this family. How many females are in the family? To get that answer, you have to count all the circles. So if we start here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 females. How many males? Well, to get that answer, count all the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13 males. The next question asks, are the people in Generation 1 parents or grandparents to Generation 3? So what that's asking is, this is Generation 1, this is Generation 3. Are these individuals parents or grandparents to these individuals? And the final question, how many people in this family are albinos? How many of them have the albino trait? If you think back to the characteristics or of a pedigree, anything that is shaded in means it is showing that trait. So in this family, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 albinos. Now, pay close attention to the next slide where I show you how to create your own pedigree. You're going to need to follow these directions in your next project. I'm going to show you the easiest way, but it's not the only way. So we're going to start by opening a PowerPoint slide. Listed below is a bunny family history. And I'm going to open the PowerPoint slide next to this, but I'm going to go through everything here first. So listed below is a bunny family history. Your task is to draw a pedigree for that family history. Shaded should represent albino bunnies, and unshaded should represent normal bunnies. Identify the bunnies in the pedigree by their capital letter under their symbol. Bunny A was a male albino and married or mated with Bunny B. Bunny B was a normal female. Bunny A and B had 7 little bunnies, named C, D, E, F, G, H, and I. The oldest was a male, and the youngest was a male, and all the rest were female. The oldest male was albino, and the middle bunny was also albino, and all the rest were normal. Bunny I married or mated with Bunny J, which was normal, and they had 3 little bunny boys, K, L, and M. The oldest was albino, and the other 2 were normal. All right. Now, I'll show you how to do this in PowerPoint. First, I'm going to start by opening a new PowerPoint. Maybe. There we go. I'm going to put that on one side of my screen and put this on the other side of my screen. My task, I need to start with a blank, completely blank screen. So I'm going to highlight and get rid of any titles and subtitles. And mostly what I'm going to be using is the Insert Shapes area of PowerPoint. So first thing I need is a male albino and a female normal shape. So we're going to be using circles and squares a lot. Here's my circle. I'm going to double click on that, or just click to make it not filled in. And here is my square. Whichever you start with, you want to make sure that those 2 objects are basically in the top middle of your slide. Oops. Okay. Notice we don't want to you don't want to put the letters inside. You want to keep them underneath, and we'll come back and put the letters in later. The other thing that you will need to insert quite frequently are lines. So we're going to draw a line from A to B. The last thing we need to do here is show that bunny A was a male albino. So making sure that my highlighting the male, if we double click, you can then shade that in just by clicking in these shape styles. Okay, so we have male albino, normal female, and then we need to add another line. Now, the family history says they had 7 little bunnies. So we need to take our line here and divide it into 7 smaller branches. So I'm going to make one long line, pull that up, and then I'm going to have 7 short branches coming off of that. There would be 1, I don't know why that doesn't want to be straight. And then I'm going to control and paste. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let me move them over a little bit to put in number 7. Okay, I should have 7 lines drawn there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good, and they should be fairly evenly spaced out. It says here that the oldest was a male and the youngest was a male, but all the rest were female. We can take our shapes and copy and paste them. It's important to remember that when you're putting children, it goes in order from oldest on the left to youngest on the right. Oops, we don't need that one. Okay, the other 2 were male. Copy and paste. And now let's look at which of these were albino. This says the oldest male was albino. Okay, that one I already have. And the middle bunny was also albino. Okay, so the middle would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this one here needs to be albino, and this one should be normal. And all the rest were normal. Okay, moving right along. Next, bunny I. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I married or mated with bunny J, which was normal. So I need to insert a... What shape should that be? Well, if the last one is a male, then that should be a circle to go with it. And they need a line between them. And they had 3 bunny boys. And these ones I'm going to copy and paste. 1, 2, 3. All of them were boys, so I can copy and paste. Okay. And for their children, says the oldest was albino and the other two were normal. So that means oldest is on the left, fill that one in. And that's the end of our pedigree. Now, we do need to go back and fill in the information with their letters. So, if you go to, I have it saved up here under Insert Text, Text Box. We are going to make small boxes, and in each box we are going to put A through M. The female was actually B in the directions. And now to get this box where it needs to be, I'm going to copy and paste again and change the letter. The male was A. If you're not sure how I'm able to copy and paste, I'm actually using my keyboard for that, using Control C for copy and Control V for paste. So this would be C, D, this would be bunny E, F, and their three little bunny boys would be K, L, and M. And there you have it.